Hello dear students. So today we are going to read the lesson 2 from Beehive book, The Sound of Music, and today we are going to revise part 2, the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. So let's start. Do you know these people? What instruments do they play? So some pictures are given here. So with the help of these pictures, I think you can get the name of these people and the instruments, that what they are, who they are and what they are playing. This, see, look the pictures carefully and find out. Think of the Shehnai, and the first thing you will probably imagine is a wedding or a similar occasion or function. The next would probably be used, probably Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro, playing this instrument. Actually here, Shehnai, this word gives so many ideas. But two ideas are generally we think. First idea, first thing, first opinion, that is we are talking about wedding, and the second is that a person who plays Shehnai, and you know very well that who plays Shehnai here, Ustad Bismillah Khan. So let's start with the first paragraph. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Punging became the generic name for reed noisemakers. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access of the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. Here, so if we talk about in ancient time, so in that time, most of the emperor, they always used to keep some musicians to play different instruments for getting entertained. So here, Emperor Aurangzeb, he banned the pungi. Pungi was a kind of instrument just like a Shehnai, but now what he had done with that? Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. That Emperor Aurangzeb, he had banned because the sound, the music was shrill, means it was not a melodious, so that he just banned this pungi. Now pungi became the generic name for reed noisemakers. And now after that, it is considered as a noisemakers, and noisemakers, nobody wants to listen noisemakers. Okay, so because of that, Aurangzeb banned this instrument in his royal court. Few had thought it would one day be revived. Few had thought that one day it would be revived and it would be again playing in the royal court. A barber of family professional musicians who had access to the royal palace, means a barber was there, and a barber of a family of professional musician who always used to go there to the royal palace, and he had decided that he will improve the pungi, he will improve the tonal of the pungi, so that it will continue in the royal court. And what he had done? He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer. He chose a pipe, longer stem, and that was a pipe just like a, and then he just made a hole. Okay, then the body of, he made 7 holes on the body of the pipe when he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes. After that he just made 7 holes. Okay, and then he just blow and opening and closing the holes, and after that he could feel the melodious sound was produced with the help of that hole. Okay. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed, and after improving that pungi as a, that you know that he chose a pipe and he made 7 holes and he blow, and by opening and closing he just produced melodious sound. When he played that before the royalty, he was what? Means everyone was impressed with the sound of that instrument. The instrument so different from the pungi. That instrument, it was so different from the pungi and had to be given a new name, and they have given a new name. And what was the name? Now we will get to know that why it is called Shehnai. Okay. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers. So Shah's chambers, so because of Shah's chambers, it is by a Nai, Shah's chambers and playing by a Nai, Shah and Nai, Shah's chamber and playing by a Nai. So because of that, the instrument was named the Shehnai. So because of that only, that instrument was named by Shehnai. So now you can see the picture of pungi and Shehnai. Okay. So let's read the paragraph number 2. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious, and here auspicious means promising to bring good fortune. Okay, it is a thing that whenever it is played in any occasion, so it is a very good thing that people consider that it is a bringing some good fortune. Okay, so and for this reason it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. If we talk about in a wedding, so it is always played in wedding ceremony, and where it is played in North India. Okay, and it is also an ensemble of 9 instruments found in royal court. Means if other instruments are also there, so this is also part of that instrument, means 9, one of them. Okay, till recently it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. Till now it is playing at 2 places, temples and wedding on the occasion of wedding. Okay, and total credit goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was the person that who brought this Shehnai, who made a name of the Shehnai. Means Shehnai is a thing that you can see, that you can find out. Okay, as a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient state of Dumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihari's temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita at the end of so at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. Actually, when he was 5-year-old, so he always used to play Gilli Danda, and I think many people have played this Gilli Danda. This is a very famous game in village area. Okay, so near a pond in the ancient state of Dumrao in Bihar. Means he used to play in Dumrao. It was his village, and it is situated in Bihar. And he always used to go to there. He always used to go to, means regularly go to the nearby Vihari temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita. Means he always used to go there, and he always used to sing a song that is called Chaita, and that is called in used to sing in Bhojpuri. And at the end of that, he got some prize. And what was the prize? He earned a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg. A prize given by the local Maharaja. Means Maharaja always used to give prize. Okay. So this happened 80 years ago. 80 years ago we are talking about. And the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in Indian, the Bharat Ratna. When he was about 5-year old, so he always used to play Gilli Danda. Where? In Dumrao in Bihar. And he always used to go to the temple Bhojpur. Okay, there he always used to sing Chaita, and after that he got laddu as a reward. But now, after 80 years, this 5-year child became a civilian who got the prestigious reward that is called Bharat Ratna. This is the highest civilian award that he earned in his life. This is very difficult to earn, that he earned in his life. So let's see. Born on 21st March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather Rasul Baks Khan was the Shahnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court. He was born on 21st March 1916, and he belonged to musician family. Means he was not only a musician, his grandfather was also there, that who was a music player, and he was the musician of Bhojpur King's Court. Okay, his father Paigambar Baks and other paternal ancestors were also great Shahnai players. Means he was not only the Shahnai players, his grandfather Rasul Baks, father Paigambar Baks, and his paternal ancestors, they all were musicians of, they always they used to play Shahnai. Okay. The young boy took music early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now Varanasi. Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shahnai. When he was young, so his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house at the age of 3, means when he was 3-year old. So he was taken to the maternal uncle's house by his mother, and there what he did, and where was the uncle's house? Banaras. Now it is in Varanasi. Okay. So but he was very fascinated by that musical instrument what his maternal uncle was playing over there. Okay. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baks to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Baks was employed to play the Shahnai. Means as he was just employed to play Shahnai over there, where at the temple. So Bismillah Khan also used to go there, and he started also accompanying, means he always accompanying with his maternal uncles, so that he started also learn to play the music or to play the Shahnai. Okay. Ali Baks would play the Shahnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Means before that he always used to go with him, means he was accompanying his maternal uncles, and he used to sit over there, and his uncle used to play because he was employed over there. So for many hours he used to sit and only looking that how his uncle was playing Shahnai. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. But after that, gradually he started learning, means his maternal uncles started to teach him that how to play Shehnai, and after that he was getting lessons, and after that he was mature, means he was perfect in playing Shehnai. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maiya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. After getting lesson of playing Shehnai, there were few places where he always used to go there to play Shehnai in solitude, means alone. And what were the places? Balaji and Mangala Maiya, banks of the these are the temples and the banks of the Ganga. These are the famous place where he used to go there to play Shehnai. Okay, the flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invented ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. Flowing of waters of Ganga, he was very inspired by that holy river Ganga. So, the flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas. And this flowing of water of Ganga, this inspired him to invent some rag. Rag, you know about rag, some music. So, it inspired him to improvise some rag, and it is that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. And really, the credit goes to this person, Bismillah Khan, definitely, because he invented so many ragas, and at that time it is just beyond of the Shehnai, just beyond. Means nobody thought about that, means with the help of this instrument can play any song or anything else, that rag or something else. So, at the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. Means when he was 14, so he went to Allahabad Music Conference with his uncle. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayyaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." With his performance, Ustad Fayyaz was very happy, and he patted his back and he said, "Work hard and you will worth it, you will earn something." Okay. With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break, and this is the time when the All India Radio was opened in Lucknow in 1938. This was the time that Bismillah Khan got his first break in his life. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio, and after that everybody used to listen him as a Shehnai player, means every time. In those days in 1938 there were no televisions, only radios were there, so the people always used to tune radio and they used to listen Shehnai, which is played by Bismillah Khan. When India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tirist with Destiny speech. See, when we got freedom, so at that time he was the first person who got the opportunity to play any instrument, like he was the player of music, player of Shehnai. So he got this opportunity to play the Shehnai on the occasion of freedom, when we got freedom from Britishers, 15th August 1947 at Red Fort. He played music, and when he played, so everybody was impressed by his music. And there, our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he included his Shehnai, his playing, his music in his diarist speech. Diarist with destiny speech. So I think I have explained 7 paragraphs. In next video, I will explain next paragraphs. Okay, thank you so much.